Good afternoon, everybody. There is nothing more exciting than seeing the number of participants climbing by the second. And as we start today's session, I'm tracking well over 300 people already. I recognize people from Franschhoek, from Gaborone, from Vic Falls, and in all parts of the country. It is really good to be with you. My name is Jeremy Maggs, and on behalf of LexisNexis, a very warm welcome to all of you. I will be moderating the discussion today. Before I introduce my very good-looking panelists, and you probably can see them already, let me just set the scene for you very quickly. LexisNexis, as a digital pioneer and global information and analytics company, has delivered unparalleled solutions to transform the way in which people are working. And the organization is continuing to lead the way in legal technology and innovation. Let me reference, most importantly, Lexis Plus, it's a new research platform, and it's the next leap forward. With Lexis Plus in South Africa, the organization is providing what it terms an intuitive and streamlined research experience. It's going to leverage on natural language processing and visualization, among other leading technologies, to ultimately develop and deliver a superior research experience. And it will give users an edge like they've never had before. And friends, colleagues right around South and Southern Africa, it's against that backdrop today that we're going to look at something called artificial intelligence meeting the law. Let me say first up, there are 3 human beings on your screen. None of us are AI generated at all. Today we're going to look at how all of this feeds into the legal domain. And I want to try and shed some light on the possibilities, the potential, the challenges that may arise when these 2 powerful forces converge. Let me say at the outset, everyone, that this is nascent technology, that we are still getting to grips with it. But every single day, in fact, let me retract that, every single second, it's changing, it's developing, it's morphing, it's becoming better, it's self-learning. And that is so exciting. But with that, I imagine, comes an enormous amount of inherent risk. And we need to certainly understand the way in which this is going to shape our lives and the jobs that we do. So having said that, let me introduce our 2 expert panel members. Firstly, Mokhosi Mokwebo, who is LexisNexis's Chief Technology Officer. Mokhosi, there you go. He's waving to us. And the gentleman with a very sharp haircut, Michael De Freitas, is a legal recruitment expert. Folks, what I want to try and get through in the next 55 minutes or so, we'll spend a little bit of time in understanding the basics. We want to talk about how this is going to enhance legal research. I want to look at it from the perspective of contract review and due diligence. We're going to touch on predictive analytics if we can, and how this is going to help streamline and look at decision making. And then obviously we cannot have a conversation like this unless we are looking at regulatory framework and ethical consideration. And there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that that is virgin territory as well. There's so much to discuss in that respect. So with our participant count at well over 300 now, it is so nice to have all of you with us today. I'm going to keep a very close eye on the Q&A box. And a conversation like this is always better informed if we have lots of perspectives. Let me say at the outset, though, I've done a couple of these with LexisNexis. Most of the time, there is just there's a tsunami of questions and comments. I'm going to try my best to get to all of them. Please don't be disappointed if I can, or if I can't, and I will try and weave that into the conversation as well. So you've heard far too much from me. So let's get started. And Mokhosi, I'm going to come to you first of all, and maybe within the legal paradigm, the best place to start is for you to give us an understanding of the concept of artificial intelligence and how it is specifically impacting on the legal profession.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeremy. So artificial intelligence, good afternoon, everyone. Artificial intelligence is a transformative technological concept that has captured the imagination of people across the globe right now. It is the hype. Everybody is aware of it. Some are scared about it. It's going to take away our livelihoods, etc. At the core, AI aims to create an intelligence machines that can simulate human-like cognitive abilities. So that is very important to understand, that this technology it's not aimed to replace, but it's more simulating human-like cognitive abilities. The machines themselves are designed to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as problem solving, how we learn, how we reason, our perception, as well as language understanding. The term AI is not new. The concept has been around for a while. It dates back to the 1940s, 1950s. It has been mainly a subject of research in the last decades or so. But however, recently, there's been advancement in computing power, data availability. We've all heard about big data, and new algorithm development capabilities that we can see. And suddenly it's coming back alive. It's a hype. Everybody is aware of it now, but it's been there for a very, very long time. It is rapidly transforming the legal profession. I think it has huge impact and potential in our legal profession. It's revolutionizing various aspects of legal practice. This includes how we do legal research, how we analyze contracts. And some of you know how difficult it is to analyze a contract and understand those fine terms and conditions that are so difficult to interpret. This makes life easy if we apply it correctly. AI technologies are enhancing efficiencies, accuracy, as well as decision-making processes for legal professionals. We are starting to see the technology being applied in legal courts, assisting judges in making decisions. For example, in the United States, there was a technology used to assist judges to see if the offendant is likely to repeat the same offense in the next specific period of time, and that way it includes the amount of judgment or punishment you can give to that individual. And while AI offers these numerous benefits to the legal profession, it also comes with challenges and considerations. Very important to note, there are ethical issues surrounding data privacy, transparency of algorithms. Bias is one issue to really consider here. And we also need to look at the potential impact on employment, especially in the industry as a whole. So having those considerations in mind, the technology must be adopted with special care. We've heard about, situations where companies are banning usage of AI after staff leaking sensitive data, via these platforms. Other examples include a lawyer in the USA, for example, who faced a court hearing after using ChatGPT and referencing example legal cases that did not exist. And then recently here at home, just here in South Africa, we've heard of lawyers arguing a case at the Johannesburg Regional Court, being called out in a judgment for using fake references generated by ChatGPT. We need to bear in mind that when it comes to legal research, the efficiency of these modern technologies still needs to be infused with a huge dose of good old-fashioned content. The content still needs to be authored, it still needs to be edited in a professional manner. So with that in mind, it doesn't mean now this technology will simply just replace the people. We still need the people to oversee how good are these algorithms operating. Yeah, I think I would like to leave it at that right now.
Mokosi, thank you very much indeed. A couple of points that you've raised, I will return to. I just want to go to Tiaan van Dyk very quickly. Tiaan, thank you for calling me out. Asks a very obvious question. What are the panelists' credentials? Fair point. I do accept that. I've already introduced Mokosi as LexisNexis's chief tech officer. Michael, before I put the first question to you, maybe let's set Tian's mind at rest, and you can give us a little bit about your background and your area of expertise. I can tell you that we spend a lot of time discussing, Tian, the people that we're going to put on the webinar like this, and I hope that they will give you the value that you are looking for this afternoon. So, Michael, maybe just as a starting point, give us a quick overview of where you see artificial intelligence within the legal profession. But let's set Tian's mind at rest and tell us who you are.
First and foremost, hi there all. My name is Michael de Freitas. I did a BCom law degree, thereafter an LLB degree. Thereafter that, completed my articles at a niche construction law firm in Pretoria. Within the last year and a half, I have now left legal practice purely because I'm not a legal practitioner at heart. And I'm now doing legal recruitment across the African continent. And we have ourselves in this industry of recruitment have implemented already artificial intelligence strategies across the board. And having come from legal practice myself, I just look forward to being able to share with you guys some of the pain points as well as possible solutions that AI is going to be bringing to legal practices across the country.
So let's start off then, Michael, if we can. And Mokhosi has already referenced this, the importance of AI, the entire concept when it comes to legal research. I'm not a lawyer, but I also know that an inordinate amount of time is spent within the sector doing proper, authenticated and validated research. I mean, obviously, this is going to save time, is it not?
Most certainly. I mean, from the first point, I mean, we can look at what a candidate attorney might be getting up to. Normally, a legal practice will obtain instructions from a client saying, please, let's give an example. Since I came from construction, let's talk about an instance where someone is building a property and the contractor now says, please help me, the client hasn't paid the last installment and I now owe 400,000 Rand to my creditors and I need to obtain that money from the client. The attorney will then say, cool, let's work with this role, but now the research will come into place. Okay, now who's going to be doing the pagination, going through all the correspondence that is then allocated to normally the candidate attorney, if the practice can, of course, afford one, where someone like myself would have stepped in. I now receive the work, I receive all the documentation from the client. It's 500 emails between the contractor and their client who hired them out, where there's a lot of he said, she said, maybe an acknowledgement of debt within that, within the email correspondence. I would then sift through all of that, establish all that correspondence as one point of call. Now within our file, that's taken me maybe 3 hours at 1,000 Rand an hour. We are billing the client 3,000 Rand, where all that email correspondence could have been taken at one whole as an email attachment, thrown into a Dropbox, for example. You'd throw it in there and it will be filtered through and all the emails will then be aligned accordingly. And what would take me maybe perhaps 3 hours will now take a AI solution that perhaps LexisNexis will be offering. Well, I would hope so, where that gets dropped in and allocated within 2 minutes. You now have all your work, all the email correspondence aligned. That's one instance where you have saved your client maybe 3,000 Rand hypothetically at now a rate of what, $60.
Michael de Freitas, your argument, of course, is entirely predicated on the accuracy of the information that you're putting in and making sure that it is filtered and that you look at it very carefully to make sure that there's not this hallucinatory effect that we've heard about. Yes. And another question which dovetails nicely into that about the certainty of cognitive ability when it comes to that. So I think let me make the point, and both of you can stress it, that it's not the panacea. It will help you with some of the heavy lifting, but it is certainly not going to do the entire job. Michael, the human element is absolutely critical. Mokhosi, I'll get to you in just a moment. I'd like your thoughts on that as well. But Michael, you would agree with us. You cannot cut corners here.
No, certainly, but you can definitely lift the weight off your own shoulders. So there's a lot of manual work that is still currently happening in legal practices. This is one of many instances. I mean, I can jump into drafting. I can go into reading up of case law, drafting your statements of claim. establishing precedents. I mean, I'm right now on ChatGPT, I can go and take, not that I'm saying it's correct or appropriate, but to be able to use technology now just to really make me such a very close to accurate template. If I may give an example, using Google Translate 15 years ago, using Google Translate, no one would recommend using it, let's say, for example, to draft a legal letter or any kind of email. Let's say it's dealing with a lot of money at stake, and now you have to get maybe an official transcriber or someone that can translate from English to Portuguese. Now in 2023, you can use Google Translate, go to 5 different transcribers, and 4 out of the 5, maybe even 5 out of the 5 will say, no, it looks great, happy with it, maybe just one enunciation here or there. But besides that, now I've saved myself the time of paying out a translator, maybe getting their review of it, but not to redraft an entire document. I can now just use Google Translate, draft the letter or copy and paste. And I've saved myself and the client time and money. So yes, it does save the grunt work. So now with AI, for example, shifting back to your question, using it to do all the heavy lifting for myself, I think we're looking forward to a great time ahead.
Makosi, would you like to add to that and perhaps share some thoughts with us on how people would then need to apply their mind in developing a research strategy to make sure that you are using it optimally, but you're not being ambushed in any way by inaccurate information?
Yes. So as I've mentioned in my opening key point, is that the technology is not the end game here. We still require human beings to do a certain amount of due diligence to make sure that whatever is referenced there in the material does exist and it's relevant, because some of these tools have a danger of hallucinating things which don't exist. So I've made reference to the cases where the lawyers got themselves into trouble. So it is still very important that when we work out strategies of adopting these technologies, we've put in the checks and balances to do that quality assurance that, whatever we're producing is correct. Otherwise, we stand danger of killing innocent lives out there. So I just wanted to add on the example that Michael de Freitas put, where he's got a bunch of emails and stuff. There's further opportunities for leveraging efficiencies. For example, if you have these thousands of emails that are related to a matter, you could then collapse that and summarize it into key points, which make your analysis even much more efficient. So you don't have to read the whole bunch of emails. So summarization is one area where you can apply this technology to work more efficiently.
So Makosi, this is also telling me that an entirely new training mindset needs to be adopted by law schools and also law firms. Where's the recalibration? Where does the new focus need to exist?
So people need to be trained not to understand the core of how AI works, but just at the high level in terms of understanding what it does, not to go and understand the algorithms. As you can see on my background here, it's a lot of mathematical formulas, and some of these formulas are used in the AI, how it derives the decisions and stuff. But we don't expect the training to include hardcore mathematical formulas that back up this algorithm. It's more at the high level to understand how the technology works, so that in that way you drive proper behavior in terms of using the technology. I mean, we've seen even students using this to write up assignments for school and submitting those assignments to school. We don't want the technology to be applied in that manner, where people become lazy now, they don't think anymore, they leave everything to machines. And remembering that in the future, we still require the legal minds to generate the content that this technology is using to derive these decisions. You cannot replace that. You still need human beings to go read the legal articles, write those articles, and then ingest them into this technology so that it can be easily discovered, it can be easily applied to research. So you will never replace the human aspect.
Mokhosi, I think that you're being very generous, to be perfectly honest with you, because I think that inherently human beings are lazy. If we can find the easy way out, we're certainly going to do that. So, Michael, let me toss it back to you if I can. If you agree with my premise, and I would imagine that you would, we'll always try to find the best solution so we can skive off early. What kind of early checks and balances need to be put in place to make sure that those that the heavy lifting is, that you're helped with the heavy lifting, but you're also making sure that you're doing the necessary due diligence?
I would say that firstly, as it stands right now, once again, like I'm coming from a junior legal practitioner's point of view. I may not have been in the industry for 10 or so years, but one thing's for sure, is coming from a family of entrepreneurs and having a vast network who are already implementing business strategies to build these kinds of programs as an offering to both the legal service community as well as other sectors. One check and balance that will definitely be in place is, first and foremost, is you yourself doing the perusal of the work. So, for example, if I had to draft a statement of claim using the facts that are put to me from the client, by putting that through a source, whether it's ChatGPT or any other kind of generative AI model, I'd put it through there, have the information portrayed out for me, saving me the hours of having to try and create my own form of drafting, then peruse it and make amendments as and where be. That would be my first step. That would be one point that I would definitely implement, is we as humans just doing the actual perusal first.
Yeah, I think I've perhaps got a more cynical view of human nature than you have, Michael, but I will leave it to you. Here's an interesting question, and Mokhosi, it does, it lends itself to what you've been talking about. It's about safeguards. So one of our attendees is asking what safeguards are available to users to make sure that it restricts itself to relevant content. Or is it the Wild West out there?
Yeah, so initially it was a wild west when they launched ChatGPT. Hence, I mentioned the case where the company had to prohibit staff members or ban it from being used by staff members after leaking, key proprietary data to the public. So the technology is evolving quite fast. And recently now, we've seen now there's capabilities where you can deploy your own large language model in-house and infuse it with your own corporate data, which you can classify to say this is private data, therefore it's not accessible from the public internet. If you have customer-facing data, you can then infuse it with data that qualifies for public view or customer view. So there is capabilities now in the technology that allows clear separation of that and guarding around not exposing critical data to everyone.
Mokhosi, I'm going to come back to you in just a moment. I'd like you to just give us a sense of where LexisNexis fits into this whole paradigm, and maybe just address Lexis Plus and Lexis Library, because I'm hoping that's why many of our plus 450 participants are here to learn about the tools that are going to enable them to have easier lives. Michael de Freitas, here's an easy question, or maybe it's a difficult one for you. Is there anything within the legal scope that AI can't do or shouldn't be doing?
I had a read at that question that was posed moments ago. Look, this may be, an argument between many people. Some say that it can, some say it can't. As for me, I do believe for the most part, I couldn't identify any sector at the moment that couldn't necessarily be, I don't want to say the word replace, that is not correct, but that the AI won't have its hands on. Myself doing legal recruitment, from CV formatting to finding, sourcing candidates across the continent, the only part that's a human element that is necessary, which is very important, is the human engagement that would be required. Same with a legal practitioner, perhaps with his clients, meeting the clients, engaging with them and getting an understanding. There's often things that are not in pen and paper, that are not in hard writing, that come from a situation that might be needed. But other than that, I think for the most part, from your contract draft, from your any kind of drafting in, let's say, your civil proceedings, to your research itself, reading up on case law, reading up on current matters, new ways of drafting different documents. I think that's all going to be used by this technology as it develops within time.
Mkhosi, you referenced it a little earlier. Let's expand on it as well, because I'm seeing a number of people are raising this in the chat box.
Yeah.
The whole notion of copyright infringement.
Yes. So what has been happening is the initial ChatGPT was launched in a public fashion. Let's not forget that this technology, especially the LLMs, are learning from information that's publicly available. So any data that's on the internet, ChatGPT was using that. Now with ChatGPT 4 and these new ones that are coming up now, Anthropic, you have an ability to take that algorithm and bring it in-house and then train it, infuse it with your own data that remains within your copyright limits.
How do you train it, Mkhosi? Don't go so fast. You're talking to an idiot here. How do you train it?
No, it's fairly straightforward. You grab a bunch of data, you bundle it, and you infuse it into the algorithm, and then it applies its formulas so that it can generate new knowledge based on what you've just fed it in as input. Yes. So that is how you train it. And then from there, you can start interacting with it based on the data that you've infused. So it will add bits of data from what it has learned from the internet, but it will also prioritize, depending on how you're weighing your data, it will use your own data as primary.
Michael, how difficult is it to spot mistakes, to spot information that is true and sticks to the brief, and information that is patently nonsense, but it could pass muster?
Well, that would depend. I think that's the best answer to give, is that, yeah, it would really depend on the scenario. I mean, if you are looking at if it's a document that you are familiar with, I mean, if I'm doing something that is in my field of specialization, let's say, for example, I was working in construction, when someone says, oh, you're an attorney or you're a lawyer, you can, I'm going to call you when I'm in trouble, you know, when I need some help and I go to jail. No, I'm going to call someone else myself, because I don't have expertise and knowledge specifically in that in that area. But for example, if it was something relating to a field that I'm specializing in, and we had to make a draft, if I had to go and peruse that, firstly, I should be able to identify already where there might be issues. I mean, otherwise, I would have to question myself as a legal practitioner. Secondly, there's using a tool, perhaps like LexisNexis will probably offer something like that when they do bring this this new product offering, using where you can actually take your document perhaps and put it through, have the computer itself pick up any possible areas of error or areas of mistake, and have comparison between the two, and then move on. I mean, currently we're only using our own judgment and you know, precedents. We're using previous people's documents, previous law firms, how they've drafted or whatever. I mean, it could be just a general, let's say, basic commercial contract. You come in, you see one or 2 points to add in, but if you have this tool now to assist you, then it sounds like a win-win to me.
Mkhosi, I see that as a perfect segue into how LexisNexis is playing in this space, and the products that it is offering to make things easier, but in a responsible manner.
Yeah. We will build this as a use case in the product. Maybe I should take this opportunity to talk about Lexis Plus. I don't know if we're ready yet, Jeremy.
We're always ready, Mkhosi. Go ahead.
So I'm pleased to announce today some exciting news to you. You know, as LexisNexis, we're a digital pioneer of global and analytics company. And we've been delivering unparalleled solutions to transform the way how you work, especially in the legal space. I'm pleased to announce that in the next month of August, we're launching our new Lexis Plus solution. This is going to the junior advocates, but we will work out on a rollout plan to roll it out to other various sectors of the legal industry. As we continue to lead the way in legal technology and innovation, Lexis Plus South Africa, our new local research platform, is our leap forward. The platform will revolutionize the way you do legal research. It is designed to enable you to work more productively and efficiently. It also simplifies the content discovery, navigation, collaboration, and knowledge sharing. From a technology point of view, we've done a stunning job here. It is built in the latest technologies you can imagine. The technologies themselves are robust, highly flexible, highly scalable architectures that is future-proof and can easily be evolved. With Lexis Plus South Africa, we are providing an intuitive and streamlined research experience, leveraging the state-of-art machine learning algorithms right now as we speak, natural language processing techniques, visualizations, among other things, things like personalized alerts, notes, and sharing of documents to deliver a tailored superior research experience, giving our users an edge like never before. This, together with our extensive and renowned content, is designed to help you make well-informed decisions more efficiently. Our teams have poured in their hearts, minds, and countless hours into creating something truly exceptional here. And this is just the beginning of our incredible journey on this platform. Together, we'll reshape the legal landscape and empower the legal fraternity. Our customers are the heart of everything that we do. So thank you for being part of this exciting venture. Your valued feedback and trust in us has inspired us to raise the bar even much higher. Let's move forward with determination, innovation, and unwavering commitment to excellence. While Lexis Plus may not yet deliver the full suite of AI capabilities at this point, it sets us up on the path towards our vision of a future where AI possibilities in legal research are not only possible, but also robust and reliable. Our commitment is to grow Lexis Plus into an industry-leading solution portfolio that redefines legal research once again, setting new standards in the industry. We invite you to join us on this exciting journey as we take our first step towards the future of AI in legal research with Lexis Plus. Thank you, Jeremy.
Mukosi, that was pretty impressive. I mean, the only thing I would ask as a result of that, does it also help you make lunch and dinner? Because it seems to do it seems to do everything else.
Yeah.
I think if we have an opportunity, and I'm just talking to the producers of this webinar, we do have a poll question today. Would you like to be contacted with more information on the products that Mukosi has outlined to us for easy legal research? And also, do you want to stay updated on the development of Lexis Plus? I'm sure the answer to that is a resounding yes, but that's our poll question for today, and we'll put it we will put it up in the chat space. There is and there we go. There's the poll on the screen at the moment. There is one very interesting question which comes from Prosper Dumani, and Michael, maybe let's give Mukosi a moment or two just to gather his thoughts after that wonderful sales pitch. Prosper says most data in the legal field is unstructured and it's got to be unwrangled. I think that's a very nice word. And I want to try and link that question, Michael, to the fact that if I'm not mistaken, the ChatGPT stop-off point is 2021. Correct me if I'm wrong. Surely that heightens the risk of the whole process.
No, certainly. I think what the goal would probably be, and it would be great if perhaps Makosi can jump in and assist me on this, just from a LexisNexis point of view. But something like ChatGPT's only got information from the last 2 years. And even with that information—
September 2021, I think it's Angela who's just put it up. If it's Angela, I missed it, but I saw an A, but thank you very much indeed. Yep. So that's 2 years behind, yeah.
Ideally, LexisNexis or Jutastat or any of these enterprises that want to have a service offering, any kind of business in South Africa that wants to have this kind of offering modeled, what would likely happen is they're going to be taking case law from and inputting all that data into the system, from case law to all kinds of contract drafting to all the cases that have recent cases for precedent, and then differentiating between all of that within these systems, all our regulations that we have, our acts that we have in South Africa, any amendments to those acts that constantly keep getting input into these into the system, as we might call it. That then in itself would then offer a much more robust offering to people. So, for example, I myself would not be using ChatGPT to go to court, for example, as we had recently, but what I would like to make mention of in that matter, just as a quick link for you guys, is the judge, they said that the actual cases were success. They referred, ChatGPT still managed to refer to actual cases and real citations. With a year and a half, we've got something that is not great, and definitely no one would recommend you go and embarrass yourself like that in a magistrate's court. But nevertheless, in such a small frame of time, we already have this technology that is picking up and making offering us some information, maybe not correct. That's why you should go and look at what it is giving you and double cross-checking it. But nevertheless, it's going to, in some point, let's give it another 12, 24 months, maybe when Lex's offering is out, you're going to see definitely a product offering where you'll literally be able to input something and it will be able to just give you case citations relating to real estate, case citations relating to real estate where the tenant is in arrears of 60 days and has not given notice. And then it will find even more cases that you can make reference to, saving you hours and saving your clients money, ultimately.
Makosi Makwebo, let's stay with that topic if we can. And this question from Prosper about how to unwrangle the data, and also with the timestamp, the September 21 timestamp that we've spoken about as well.
Right. So let's keep it in the back of our minds that let's not forget LexisNexis is well renowned for its strong, rich, and robust legal content. So regardless of timestamp, in this release of Lexis Plus that we're coming with, we have a complete upload of case law, legislation, analytical materials, law essay, and pleadings. And we've been renowned for quality content. Now we use that content to infuse into these algorithms so that people can now interact with this quality content that we have. If it's case law, they can easily discover cases similar to what they're doing and see how the outcomes was and get summaries from there. So we're no longer dependent on the unwrangled content that you just pick up from anywhere. So this is content that has been properly edited, authored, and edited in a professional way. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Michael, you wanted to chip in there?
No, I just think it's brilliant. It's something that I've been, when I myself was doing my articles and I was sitting there and I'd have to log into a system, then go and search for cases from, let's say, you go search 2022 in which court, manually searching for all of this stuff. I think there's a brilliant service offering that Lexis is going to be bringing soon enough to legal practitioners. And I'm sure it's going to be great. But if I can just add something here quickly, is that I'm very fascinated to know and when I reach out and speak to a lot of the legal practitioners around South Africa and everywhere else on the continent, specifically in SA, when I speak to them and I ask them, have you used a tool like ChatGPT or Bard from Google or any other tools, these simple ones that are free and available, that you don't pay a subscription for, something that's just readily available? And a lot of the attorneys I speak to say, no, I've never used it yet. They've heard of it because it's a hype on the news, but none of them have actually used it. And specifically regarding maybe drafting their CV or building their brand on LinkedIn, for example, my own professional brand. I'm utilizing it for that. And as legal practitioners, these are tools that are available for us to at least build some knowledge on. We need to at least have some basic understanding of what it is, because it is going to affect legal practice for the better. But if people aren't even aware of what it is, or how it's going to help them, or how they can use it to better their services to clients, we need to be careful of that. And I'd plea for all of you to learn about it, a bit more about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that underpins this entire conversation this afternoon, is that you've got to do your own research before you wade into what often can be a shark tank. Here's a question which appeals to me, Michael. The impact of AI on confidentiality, on attorney-client privilege. What kind of discussion has been ventilated in that respect?
I would like to just give my 2 cents on that, and then I'd also like to hear from Okosi on whether, how Lexis will be able to, ensure that the service offerings that they have will be able to ensure that that is safeguarded from people. But sure. One thing for sure is I'm using a free site, like for example, ChatGPT. I'm giving my consent to now, have it utilize my whatever information I put in there and do what it wants. I actually saw a funny post where it said, imagine getting a message from ChatGPT saying, start paying me a subscription, or I'm going to publish everything you've searched for on ChatGPT. And, hold your answer to your own searches.
I don't even know why I'm laughing, but anyway, yeah.
But what's important to see is, for me, is that we are using a free service. Same with Facebook, how it tracks, to make our user experience better, it is tracking where we're driving, how fast we're driving, where our home is. Same with our Google services being signed into Google. It's absorbing all that information, whatever I've given it consent to. Chances are that when a robust system is implemented in South Africa, such as LexisNexis or any other competitor, we are in a capitalist country, there will be a lot of competition to this, but it's great. Same with legal recruitment, same with legal practice, over 30,000 legal practitioners in the country. But if we are able to use a system that is going to safeguard it, and it would come down to that system itself. I think that there are going to be issues, are going to be pain points. People's information may be at risk, especially in the early stages. But that will sharpen up with time, as with any other new laws get implemented, and there's always pain points as it evolves.
Mokosi, awesome. This is a vital point that we do have to give a little bit of time to. The entire concept of law, the pillar on which a legal framework is built, is on attorney-client privilege and confidentiality. It's critical that that is factored into the entire debate and that it's dealt with.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you, Jeremy. The way that we build our systems, we make sure that we comply with the regulations, especially the POPIA Act, protection of private information, GDPR as well. So we then also look at the algorithms that we use and make sure that we cannot infuse private protected information into the algorithm. We protect that at all times. In actual fact, we keep our client data separate from the algorithms, and that makes it bulletproof, that we will never be, displaying that to the wrong people.
Michael, what are the limitations or risks on relying on over-reliance on AI for legal advice? What a person who is seeking that information, what new tools do they need to arm themselves with?
Oh, well, firstly, learning about what the product, what this service offering is in itself. That's definitely the first thing they would have to implement to ensure that they can safeguard themselves. But yeah, I think that's where I think we should all stand at the moment. We are still in very early stages. I think if everyone can at least establish a basic understanding of the artificial intelligence, what the different forms are. I mean, I myself am learning that. I'm now doing a course with IBM. There are many free and paid courses across the internet space, even in person, if people want to still do that through learning. But I think it's just important that we all align ourselves with the fundamentals first and then take it from there.
At this point, Makosi, again, as wearing your chief technologist's hat, what are the dangers of hacking in this respect?
So remember, the technology itself, it's none other than the way you interact with it. It's not different than how you interact with existing technology. Most of these technologies are giving a front end that you interact with. So that means it's a publicly available website or URL that you log into, and then you start communicating with it. So, corporate still needs to ensure that, their systems are protected so that nobody can hack like a website or URL and start feeding incorrect information. So it's very important to still follow the standard internet and security protocols. They will remain essential in this dispensation. You don't have to go and reinvent the wheel. As long as your systems are within a robust and well-protected environment, then you're good to go.
Michael, I'm wondering to myself as we have this discussion, what work has been done in the early stages of adoption of artificial intelligence within the legal space on productivity? Is there data to support the fact that there's been an increase in productivity?
Just data in itself.
By anyone. Is there empirical evidence now to say that this is the course in which the profession is set out on, and that fundamentally it is going to be it's going to increase productivity, and ultimately, it's going to be more profitable?
Well, I personally haven't seen that. I look forward to reading up on something like that, any evidence that does come up in the near future. But what I do know is that South Africa is often very delayed to the US, for example. For example, the US have had Harvey running for a good, 5 years or more than that, which is that AI assistance tool that they've been using to help them sourcing of cases, with mainly for that part of research and not so much the drafting. I'm not too familiar with Harvey itself, but I know that SA obviously follows a bit more of a delayed approach to its implementation of such tools. So I think this, and the analytics behind this, I'm sure it is currently being compiled. Like there was someone who did mention earlier that a lot of information in SA is often very, it's a bit of a mess. It's not really.
It's all over the place. Yes, yeah.
It's a bit all over the place. And it's not only limited to just, legal practice in itself. And what it consists of. But yeah, I look forward to seeing that. I haven't found anything. If anyone here that is still participating here out of the 400 people, if you have engaged on something, I'd really love to see something like that. And if any of you, please share if you have it.
And Michael, let me ask you perhaps more of a philosophical question than anything else, and maybe I've watched too many legal crime shows in the past, but we often know that success in the legal space hinges on nuance within the law. That's something that artificial intelligence is not capable of just yet. It's understanding that nuance, being able to interpret it, or give you a multiplicity of interpretation in order for you to make the best decision. So my understanding is that at this stage, it's very linear, it's very useful, but ultimately we're not there with the nuance, and great case law is predicated on nuance.
Yes, certainly. Well, I think, that is a bit of a challenging one. I like that. So if I have to look at it, and I stand under correction here, I look forward to having possibly engagement from others, maybe what your experience has been, but you as an actioning party representing your client, compile your nuanced version of what the law says. Another party is now defending what their nuanced version of what the law says, what the contract says, their interpretation of what clause 32 says about, should client fail to make payment on X date? Okay, but what if there's this exceptional circumstance? So now there are two versions that are being put to the court all the time, and then it is there is a solution that is derived from the court. Sorry, a solution is not the correct word. An order is derived from the court of what is in fact, who should be awarded what. And sure, maybe AI is not offering that right now. Perhaps with time it might change. Perhaps as it develops a human understanding and with thousands and thousands and thousands of people's input, their nuanced versions being put into the data, it will then be able to, using its the genius behind it. I'm not a mathematician, I'm not a scientist, but using this technology to create new nuanced versions interpreting law. I think that will happen with time, but that's a long way ahead, perhaps.
And Makosi, let me extend that a little bit if I can. In terms of the skill set that people in the profession now need, at some point, are they going to have to learn how to write and understand code?
No, unfortunately, this is all abstracted from everyone else. Even in the software development space, we are starting to see this technology having a huge impact. I was reading a study by McKinsey, I think a week ago, where they were saying, in the next few years, we should see like 30% more productivity through this technology in the software development space. So that just highlight the efficiencies that this technology will bring, but you will not be able to eliminate software developers completely. There's still a huge role that human beings still require to play with this. We need to still safeguard and do that check to make sure that whatever code is generated is valid. You don't want to destroy lives unnecessarily. You've seen the incident with the launch of the Boeing 737 by Boeing a few years ago, where things were not properly tested. You need human beings to still do that due diligence and make sure that the software is behaving as it's expected. So it's very important to save lives.
Before, and Makosi, I'm going to come to you in just a second for some closing thoughts. Michael, I'll come to you for some closing thoughts as well. But before that, is there any evidence to suggest at this point that artificial intelligence can develop effective and winning legal arguments? So at the beginning of this conversation, you spoke about the importance of research, and we like that phrase about doing the heavy lifting. But fundamentally, the legal profession is also predicated on making the best argument, isn't it?
May I jump in there quickly?
Please, yes.
So one thing's for sure is that how you create your argument is great and how you present it, but it often comes down, it comes down to the facts of the matter. I've witnessed, I'm not an advocate, so I can't say that, but I've witnessed an incredible advocate who enunciates well, speaks well, captivated the entire audience, had the judge melting for him because of how well he spoke. And another not so, a more robust, as we've been using that word, advocate, but more rigid in his speaking, gave his arguments, and what ultimately happened is the judge went into chambers, sat down and went through the facts, and the facts were leaning towards the more rigid advocate, regardless of how well the other gentleman spoke and how he persuaded everyone in the room. So I think because it comes down mainly to the actual facts on paper, AI will then have that advantage there. But one item I just want to make mention on that is just, if you are taking 500 cases that have occurred regarding a specific matter, because there are so many cases in our country every year, surely that this technology will be able to, I haven't read through 500 cases regarding construction law, not in my 2 years. It's not possible. Perhaps it's possible. I'm not, but for me, it was not possible. A computer can do it and give me a good trusted information. In most cases, we're hoping as it develops trusted information, I would then be able to give have a winning argument, definitely. That's where I stand.
You did use the word surely, though, didn't you? And that's so there is an element of expectation. And as we said at the beginning, all of this is very nascent at this point. Mokosi Makwebo, I'm going to give you the last word on this webinar. What's the call to action here? We've skimmed so many things from research to ethics to code to whatever. We can never hope to cover everything comprehensively in the time that we've got. But what's the call to action here? What would you like people to take away from this session?
So, despite the fact that Lexis Plus has arrived, is the platform for the future of legal research. If by all means possible, get your hands to the technology and see what's coming up, how you can leverage the efficiencies we're bringing you to work more faster, arrive to those decisions in a more efficient way. Regarding AI, my takeaway is to try and do some research and understand how you can apply AI in your own environment. If you pick up use cases that you feel are not being addressed through any technology, reach out to us, come talk to us, let's work together to advance this rule of law forward. I think that's the key message. Understanding AI as a technology and what it can do. It's not here to replace us. We just need to use it in an efficient manner. And I think leveraging back to what Michael was saying now, in the case of judges, same thing should apply there, where judges should get tools that are powered by AI that makes their life easy, to make judgments much quicker. We are seeing cases that are running for 3 years, 10 years sometime, but we need to see how we leverage AI to arrive at a judgment much, much quicker than what we're doing now. So that's the efficiencies that it's bringing. As of replacing a judge with the technology, I don't think we are there yet. But things may come later on, but right now I don't think we're close to that.
Maybe not replacing a judge, but I guess if we do this webinar this time next year, we might have reached the point where they can replace panel members. Michael de Freitas, very quickly from your side, what would your call to action be before I close things?
One thing for sure, just of any value, please go and play around with a ChatGPT or a Bard. Sign up with your Google and play around with it. Don't use it for your legal work, but use it for your professional brand, perhaps, on helping you with your marketing as a 30-day, maybe a fitness guide. Maybe you can look better in court. It can make that for you. Implement that for yourself. Have fun with it. Get comfortable with it, because these tools are going to be here to assist you very soon through many companies, and our legal profession is going to be advanced for the better with it. So definitely do that and learn a bit about AI.
Did ChatGPT help you choose the barber for your haircut, Michael?
No, my barber came before ChatGPT, before 2021.
To both of you, thank you very much for your participation today, folks. As I said to you at the very beginning, and just to repeat myself, we can never hope to cover everything. All we can do is give you a taste. We can point you in a direction, and we can give you a sense of what the future is going to look like. So it leaves me to thank all our participants, to our production team behind the scenes, and mostly to our 2 panel members. Thanks for your time. Thanks for the engagement, and very excited to hear about the Lexis Plus offering as well. So we'll do another one of these webinars next month. To everybody, goodbye, and thank you for watching. Have a good afternoon.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you, Jeremy.
Awesome. Can't wait to onboard you, Lexis Plus.